And now for something completely different.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sports Church right here at Barracks Party Media. I'm your host, John Kerman, a.k.a. Friar Mini. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. 2311 was my MOS. IUA's car carrier member of the E4 Mafia, allegedly, and founding members of Barracks Party Media. All right, another Sports Church. Got 2 weeks in a row. Holy shit, we're catching fire. Got a lot to talk about-ish in a short time to do it because we got playoff football going on today. 2 championship games, AFC, NFC championship, determining who goes to the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit. A little bit of baseball to talk about, a little bit of racing. We'll see what the Pook Dog has for us. Without further ado, he's a fellow United States Marine Corps veteran. 2311 was also his MOS. We served together at the beautiful all-inclusive resort known as 43 area, Las Pulgas. Yes, of the most ballistic company in Marine Corps history, ammo company, part of the First Supply Battalion, First Force Surge Support Group, First Smart Div. Without further ado, the frick to my frack, the one and only Brother Bishop Pook Dog.
Oh, let us proclaim a day off of the UFC and combat sports and a BFK fight between some oldies and moldies. Oh.
What's up, brother?
How you doing, my friend? You said the frick to my frack. That's actually what a staff sergeant called us. Frickin'
I know.
frack. You remember
Frickin'
that?
Frack. Yes, I do.
That guy was something else.
Yes,
That
he
guy
was.
was something else. He was something else. I guess we were something else as well.
Yeah. We were, yeah, for sure, something else. We'll just leave it at that. Next up, we call him Pops because he's my Pops. His call sign on this show is Reverend Pops. He's our auto racing expert. He's been in the business for 50 years, whether working on, reporting, calling the races, whatnot. He knows it, so we trust him. Here he is to give us a little bit of scoop on the kind of down season right now in auto racing, but still news to be had for sure. The one and only Reverend Pops.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thought we were going to do evening show. I couldn't figure out how we were going to do that and watch the football game, but we got out of it.
We got out of it.
Well, we do have some racing results, though. We had the 24 Hours of Daytona this last weekend. Ended about 2 o'clock today, so we got some results to say. And guess who won?
Who?
Who always wins?
Kyle Larson.
No.
Damn it.
Roger Penske.
Oh, okay.
He
Well,
owned the first and third place cars. Guess who finished second?
Who?
Ray Hall Lanning Racing.
Ah.
So, like Penske and Ray Hall, like, oh my God, here we go. But anyway, they had a tremendous show. 54 cars on the track at Daytona, which is a little wild. And they only averaged 136 miles an hour.
Only.
However, that goes along with them going through the infield where they average between 70 and 90 miles an hour, maybe. So that cuts the speed way back down. So these guys are doing 180, 190 miles an hour on the banking, but they get all cut back for the infield stretch, which is an interesting slalom course, if you want to say it. I guess the best way to describe that one. So we got a whole result for there, and all kinds of crazy stuff going on in baseball. Guys are spending money, ain't they?
Well, yeah, we kind of covered that last week, but we do have some Hall of Fame issues to talk about.
Okay.
And there are still a couple. There is one really big free agent still out there that has not landed a spot. Of course, he's a Scott Boras guy. We'll get into that as well. But Pook, you usually lead us off. Not much going on, but what do you have for me, man?
Oh, I got what I sent you, and I got some other tidbits if need be. So this is how we're gonna play this, okay? Since we can't seem to ever get on the same page with the slides and the videos I send you, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick whatever you want to put up, and the Pook's gonna talk about it. That way, we're definitely gonna stay on the same page. We'll stay on track. There won't be any problem. I won't be telling you from the bottom up, from the top down, and then you freaking pick the one in the middle. That's not going to happen this time, because whatever you pick's what we're going to talk about. So go ahead, pick a slide or a video, and we'll chat about it. We'll talk about it. The Pook will have
put that new pickup. I want to see this.
There you go.
All right, awesome, great. So we're going to start out talking about the UFC, and that ain't going to be where we finish, because there was nothing going on in the UFC last night. But next week, we got a very interesting fight coming up here. We got Israel Adesanya is going to be fighting Imavov, and that's going to be over in Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be a fight night. It's going to be free. If you got, it's not too hard to figure out how to figure out a way to get on ESPN Plus. So as long as you got a way to get on the ESPN Plus, I guess you pay for ESPN Plus, so you can't really say it's free, but a non-pay-per-view event that's easy accessible. How's that? We'll put it like that. We're going to see Stylebender in action. It's going to be, obviously he's going to be trying to fight back his way to the title, right? And he's going to have to win. He's going to have to beat a guy that probably is going to give him some challenges, especially with the wrestling department. So we'll see how that happens. We got my favorite fighter on that card as well. We got Michael Venom Page is going to be fighting on that card. He's going to be fighting that Ginger Dagestani.
Watch out for those Ginger Dagestanis, man.
Oh yeah. So that should be interesting. Here we have another one of these superb strikers against a guy that does some good groundwork. This guy also has some really good striking. He's an exciting fighter. We've seen him fight before. We've seen highlights of that guy. You remember the Ginger Dagestani?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that guy. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to be happening next week. We'll be talking about it on next week's Sports Church. Hopefully, as long as I make it in next week's Sports Church, as long as the creek don't rise, you know what I'm saying? So let's hit up the next slide. Just if you could, just follow them in line. Oh, perfect. We're on cue. The one time, this is what I got to do every week. Every week I just got to go, you pick these slides at random, and somehow you're coming up with the stuff that I wanted you. This is what I would have had you queue up. Okay, so that's the pay-per-view that's happening in 2 weeks, and that's going to be Dricus du Plessis against Sean Strickland. This is a rematch of the first fight. I really believe that Sean Strickland won this first fight, but, he won it with the jab, and he didn't win it very excitingly, and the judges didn't see it my way. So he really didn't win the fight. So he lost the title, and DDP has it. And they're going to be fighting again in Australia. They fight all their fights in Australia for some reason. The guys from South Africa, could that be because of visa problems? I don't know. I'm just wondering. I don't know offhand. Maybe a guy like Mr. Benoit, maybe Benoit would know. Maybe the Combat Santa would know was that's because of visa problems. Kind of weird how they have all their fights in Australia, though. I guess it would be the closest to South Africa, where DDP claims to be an African, more African than Adesanya, if you remember the whole controversy and everything back in the day. So that's going to be happening in a couple weeks here. That's the pay-per-view. That's probably the best fight on that card. There's some other fights on that card that interest me, but let's go ahead and we talked about that card last week, and we will talk about it next week, and we will talk about it when it happens. So let's go ahead and hit the next video or slide that you got.
That's all I got.
That's all you got? That's all you got for slides. You should have some videos I sent you.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah.
Did you text them to me?
Yeah, I texted them to you.
Oh,
it's going to say, all right.
All right. Hold on. This is going to take a minute.
No wonder you pulled up the slides I wanted you to pull up. That's the only one you could.
He had choice of one or two. He did it.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
This is stuff that you're going to see. Here's the thing. Like, this is stuff that you're going to want to see because some of the stuff involves Conor.
All right.
I know what a Conor guy you are.
Yeah, buddy.
And pretty much the only reason I'm covering this BKFC last night is because there was no UFC on last night. We got all these former UFC personalities and current UFC personalities that are involved in this stuff. So I figure why not do the BKFC? There was a PFL fight last night. I couldn't tell you if I had a gun to my head exactly what happened in that. I know there was a guy fighting in there last night that was 19-0. I know that. I did see that. But what is this? That's the Eagles. You want me to resend this stuff to you, my man?
No, hold on a second. Just give me a second. All right, here we go. Here's the first one that I have.
First one you got.
Yeah. Or technically, actually, the last one he sent me. Shit. There we go.
Okay, here we go.
Number 2, Alvarez immediately forward off the jab in the right hand. Jab right back from Jeremy Stevens. And it was that right. Who the fuck is this, baby? Yes. Yeah, let's make a date. Let's set a date. Who's going to stop me man to man? No one's going to stop me. David, make the date. Let's do it. One down for the pro. Yeah, one down for the pro. Let's go. Hey, bleed, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Jeremy Little.
But one more thing, as I was walking,
the little heathen, huh? Jeremy Stevenson. We know him from UFC fame. He wasn't very good. Well, I shouldn't say that. He was good. He was good. He was very good. He wasn't a great. He fought for a long time in the UFC, what you might call a journeyman. He's now having some success here in the BKFC. He fought Eddie Alvarez, a former UFC champion, knocked him out. And here we got Conor. And Stevenson Conor's calling him out after the fight. Steven actually called this guy in the press conference, Conor. He called Conor Cocaine Conor. Now, I cannot take, in the press conference after the fight when he comes up to him. Now, I cannot take credit for that nickname, but I'm going to start using it. I'm going to start using it.
We're going to do a bonus for this fight. We're going to do a bonus, Conor.
No. Listen, what we're going to do for these two gentlemen, as well as a bonus, is double the purse. They're getting double pay. That's it, straight. Well done, gentlemen. You're getting double pay and bonuses. Thank you.
So Conor's involved with the ownership here. He's got a partnership share in this whole BKFC. They pretty much paid him to join this organization so he'd be able to promote them. You know, It's like one hand wash the other. It's a good deal. I think probably behind the scenes. They got a handshake deal for some fights with Conor being involved after his UFC sunset clause happens, right? So that's the owner of the BKFC with Conor, who's a partner, who is a part owner. And that was 3 months ago. And there he was, drunk and coked up, freaking giving away
Allegedly.
giving away all the company's money, And so then we fast forward to that Jeremy Stevenson fight that we just saw, where Jeremy Stevenson knocked out Eddie Alvarez. And what do we got? We got the same thing. We got drunken, high, coked up Conor coming into the middle of the ring again and freaking acting like a jagoff. I would challenge you. Okay, there was a guy that here's the thing, like, I would have brought it on the Sports Church, but it would have took some editing. It would have took some time to edit that out, because the guy had 11-minute video, and it was 11-minute video, and it was all of Conor in drunken, coked out freaking rants, one after another, coming up to the point where he's at the inauguration bus with Jake Paul acting drunk and coked up, going to watch the president of the United States get inaugurated. So, I mean, this guy, I challenge you. I don't think you will never see this guy again in the UFC fight ever again. He's not going to fight. He's not going to fight freaking Chandler. He's not going to fight somebody else. I mean, I guarantee you, Dana White don't want no part of this guy anymore. He served his purpose for the UFC. We ain't going to see this guy in the UFC. I don't believe it. We've been talking about a Chandler fight for 3-4 years now. It's not happening, So I believe that's what's going to happen with Conor. I believe the sunset clause is going to happen with Conor, and there's going to be a day where he is no longer obligated by the UFC to fight. And when that happens, he's going to be in this dog and pony show over here with this bare knuckle fighting championship, where they got all these UFC retreads, Jeremy Stevenson being one of them. Guys that are too freaking old to be champions. They're in this Platinum Mike Perry, one of my favorite fighters. He's really good at this. He's involved with this nonsense. Supposedly he was fired after his last loss. I don't think that happened. I think that's just some WWE nonsense going on there. Now, this slide that you pulled up, we're going to get to another slide from BKFC after this slide. But this slide, but that's okay. We're going to talk about this slide because this is really interesting. This isn't a slide. This is actually a video. It's a short, and you go ahead, play the short, and then we'll talk. We'll all talk.
No,
about
I don't.
This.
Okay, then shut the fuck up.
You'll tell me shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Because
you don't understand what a 45-70
He
is.
doesn't know what a
You're talking
45
about ego. Now I'm giving you some ego.
Okay, yeah, that's the last thing he want to do is fight me, though. That's the last
Nah,
thing.
I still want to.
No,
I don't give a fuck about the fight on Saturday.
No, you don't want to fight.
I'm just being real.
I'm being real with you, young buck. You
I'm
don't
just
wanna
letting you
fight.
know.
I'm just letting you know. You
Sounds good.
sometimes people don't know what they want.
Yeah.
You don't want to fight me.
I feel like
Sounds
Kevin,
good.
you have a very
If people, I've learned throughout my life, if people
That's
don't
it.
like my sense of humor,
That's it. So basically, we got Rampage Jackson, who's in his 50s. He's got to be in his 50s, late 40s, probably in his 50s, though. He's old. I think he's older than me or my age. And you got this young whippersnapper, really mouthing off at him. And actually, if you heard what he said, did you hear what he was talking about? Did you hear anything he was saying?
Man, it was kind of just basically
You're
keep
zoning out?
talking.
Okay, you're zoning out, but I'll tell you what he was talking about. He asked Rampage if he's ever heard of a 45-70.
Okay.
All right. Well, what if I said that to you and we were like an obvious confrontation? Me and you are like an obvious confrontation, and I start talking about gun calibers.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
45-70?
Yeah. That's that cowboy gun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I still think Rampage just got him.
You know what? If they fight out on the street, maybe just because Rampage might slam him, but he's got to get him early. This guy's
Yeah. I agree. He's got.
This guy's active. He's training.
Yeah.
It's not right. It ain't cool. And the internet, there's a big backlash on Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's had a real tough time. I think he's lost 4 out of his last fights.
Oh, wow.
5 fights. He goes on this interview to talk about, how and it's obvious. The MMA Guru says this is a cope, and I agree with him. And I'm going to give MMA Guru credit for that because MMA Guru got on and put that in my head before I was able to decipher all this for myself. But he's talking about how he really doesn't care about becoming champion and how, oh, look at all the extra work you got to do, all the extra media. He knows the champions. They don't have that much extra money. He's doing really good. He's making better than a doctor or a lawyer. Why would he want to be champion? Well, with that attitude, you're going to lose 4 out of the next 5 fights.
Yeah.
You're going to be out of the UFC. The guy, he don't fight like a bum. He sounds like a real bum. Yeah. And basically it's a cope because he's fell short. A lot of these fights he's had his opponents wobbled and probably could have finished them and somehow snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory, in some of these fights. So a very exciting fighter. I was a fan of his before I heard him open up his mouth, man. The more you learn about some of these guys, the more you don't want to. But, everybody's human, and that whole thing was actually over. Rampage made an off-color joke about lesbians scissoring themselves, commenting on some kind of, I believe it was a weigh-in, his last weigh-in. He said, oh, that pose he made looks like 2 lesbians scissoring themselves or some nonsense. Right. And everyone yacked it up, ha, ha, ha. Well, Kevin Holland takes this freaking like some kind of huge slight, goes on the show, talks about how he wants to kick Rampage's ass and whatnot. I stand corrected. It wasn't his last fight. It was a fight that happened a year ago. So they hold this grudge for a year. He has him on, he has him on the show, and he still hadn't let go of it. And he's threatening to kick Rampage's ass, tell him to shut the fuck up, talking about gun calibers. It's like, what? I mean, if I'm Rampage Jackson, I mean, you got to be a professional. I guess you can't end the interview because it's kind of his show. That Jackson podcast is kind of his show. They got the guy that hosts it, but it's really Rampage's show, really.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess you got to be professional, but I'd be ready to kick the guy off or freaking get this guy out of here. You know what I mean? We're not even doing this, but that's neither here nor there. What we have in action is the last of our videos, and it's another retread from the UFC fighting and BFK bare knuckle fighting championships. Ben Roswell. Remember Ben Roswell?
Yeah, I don't think you sent me that one. I swear to God.
Sent you Ben Roswell?
You sent me 3, and then you sent me. I don't know if these pictures are from last week.
Should be the very first. No, what is this? No, ain't the very first one. You're right.
Yeah, I got. Yeah. I don't see it.
Oh, it's the third one down. It's gonna say https://youtube.com shorts PDQKYKESEFW ?
Ben Rothwell knockout?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Give me a minute. I don't know why I didn't have that one, or why I didn't transfer it, but here we go. Give me a minute.
It's okay. We're going to go out with a bang. We end it with a finale. The Pook's going to shut up, and we're going to watch a knockout.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Do. All right. Here we go.
What
the fuck? That's full time. This is probably worth watching too.
Watch the hook upstairs after he goes to the body. You already know what he wants.
What does he want? What does he want?
The hook upstairs.
Oh shit! Hook it up.
Stop. Continue.
Well, that was a good knockout to watch. Do me a huge favor and try reloading that because it was playing on my phone just fine. I don't know what happened there.
I don't know either, brother. I'm gonna try again.
Let's try it one more time.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
Yeah, worth watching.
Oh,
Highlight reel, worth watching. So
That was the
what
hookup
a
there coming, huh?
slam.
this is what's going on. The guys that no longer can have productive careers in the UFC are all going to this BFK. And then there's this new thing coming out. Was it the GFL? Is that what it is? The GFL? They're supposedly drafted. It's supposed to be like teams, and they're supposed to be drafting people.
Yeah.
And somebody asked who's Rampage.
Yeah, he's just
They
fucking.
joking?
Yeah.
That joke? Not an MMA fan, or maybe a recent MMA fan. Might be a youngster, but yeah. So anyway, Minnie, normally this would be the time when we talk about what's up in the UFC next, but guess what? We talked about that first. We had our dessert first, and it's over. The Pook segment's over. We can now talk about auto racing and football and baseball and anything else that you guys want to talk about.
All right, I'm gonna jump in and do a little bit of baseball. Had a hell of a lot going on over the past couple of weeks. Of course, the Juan Soto disastrous contract. Why is it disastrous? Well, $760 million over 15 years. There are some opt-outs, but man, that's an awful lot to pay for one guy. Dodgers keep adding on and making everybody hate him. However, and I do hate him. Like, I hate him. Like, I don't think this is a bad thing. One of my favorite podcasts are like, you can't hate the Dodgers because this is how your team should be acting. Fine. Still hate the Dodgers. Still want to hate them. Still want to root against them. Gonna root against the Dodgers. Am I going to watch every game I can? Yes. That's why it's genius. They locked down the Asian market. I mean, holy crap. Their team is just so stacked. It's stupid. And if they stay healthy, oh my God. Look, they only won one title, but they are stacked to win quite a few more. I guess a notable free agent signing was oh God, who was it? Baltimore Orioles slugger. Shit, can't remember his name. Moving on. But the one guy still hanging out there is Mr. Alex Bregman, Mr. Trash Can himself, of the Houston Astros. That's why I say Trash Can. Totally different guy before that story broke, and then after, again, totally different guy. But hell of third baseman, great bat, still out there. Of course, he's a Scott Boras agent guy, so fucking he might just get fucked. But rumors are he's either going back to Houston, Boston, Chicago. Cubs have been mentioned. Oh, please, Jed Hoyer, a.k.a. Theo Epstein from Wish.com or Temu. Like, please sign Alex Bregman. Let's make a run. Let's fucking go. Probably not going to happen. But in other really important news, Hall of Fame class was announced for 2025. That being Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner voted. And I'm going to get to this in a second. I guess we'll go from the bottom to the top. Andy Pettitte came in with 27.9% of the ballot. Manny Ramirez, 34.3%. Alex Rodriguez climbing up there at 37.1%. Chase Utley at 39.8%. Andrew Jones, probably the best center fielder ever, at 66.2%. Carlos Beltran, I was very upset with. I was talking with the Combat Santa about this, how Carlos Beltran didn't get in. But Billy Wagner did make it in on his 10th and final ballot. The left-handed closer with 82.5% of the vote. Billy Wagner had a career 27.7 WAR. He's a closer, so the wins and losses aren't really that important. His ERA, however, is a 2.31. He saved 422 games. This guy threw lefty. Guess why he threw lefty, Pook?
Why did he throw lefty?
Because he broke his right hand in college and wanted to keep playing baseball. So he taught himself to throw lefty, and his fastball went up 10 miles an hour. Guys, Now
Sounds
imagine
like
this.
he's a natural left-hander.
When
Sounds like he's a natural lefty.
No, not a natural lefty. Nope.
Well, how would you know? You know, I was thinking about that myself because some stuff I do naturally left-handed. And how would you even know that? Because they teach you to do everything goddamn right-handed. Everyone does.
True.
You know what I mean?
Except for me, I try to get I got my son batting left-handed as we speak. So
Well, you're ahead of the game.
yeah. Here's the thing, Poop. This is me in the Marine Corps, 5'10" and 180 pounds. And the guy was throwing above 95 on a consistent basis. Like, that's crazy. I was upset when it was announced that he got in, and then I realized it was his last shot. Not his last shot, but his last time on the ballot. There's different ways you can get in veteran committees and whatnot. But I was upset about Carlos Beltran not getting in. I'm pretty sure that Carlos will get in next year. Familiar with him? Go on YouTube and look up Carlos Beltran highlights.
Yeah, what do they got against him? I don't understand it.
Carlos Beltran?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, you got so many votes and so many guys that come up, and I think Billy kind of got in. Not saying he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He does, but
yeah,
there's a lot of it's this last guy's time on the ballot, so let's slide him in there. So
Man, the Hall of Fame's bullshit, man.
Oh, why?
Pure bullshit.
Why? Why is it bullshit?
Because
Pete
you
Rose
got
isn't in
these.
there.
You got these guys. You got these guys like they set a precedent, right? And then now you got guys with similar statistics, and now we got to put them in the argument. And then you got guys like Bo Jackson, who's probably one of the most famous athletes ever, who's not even considered. And if it's the actual Hall of Fame, then the most famous people should probably be in it. You know what I'm saying?
You got to have the stats to back it up.
Point. It's a sham. It's the Hall of let's
look at Bo Jackson. Let's look at Bo Jackson real quick. His Baseball Reference page. Career WAR 8.3, home runs 141, batting average 250, RBIs 415, on base percentage 309. It's not bad. Slugging percentage 474 for an OPS of 784.
You got
not good numbers.
Doesn't
belong in the Hall of Fame.
Hold on.
He just doesn't.
Hold on.
One-time All-Star and All-Star Game MVP. That's it.
Hit a home run.
Insane.
Only guy to score a touchdown in a Pro Bowl.
Nobody cares about that baseball. We're talking about baseball.
That's the Hall of Fame. That's the point of this. It's the Hall of Fame. It's not. But here's the problem, Pops. It's not the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's the Hall of who was really good and produced for a really long time. That's what it really is. It ain't the Hall of Fame because the most famous people ain't even in. It's a joke.
Okay, moving on to the next guy that actually got in, Mr. CC Sabathia, who had, I'm telling you, one of the greatest runs in Brewers history when he was traded to him, got them into the playoffs. World Series winner, of course. Career WAR of 62.3, a career ERA of 3.74, strikeouts 3,093. So, yeah, gangster. Now, and I love CC. I love left-handed pitchers because I can hit him in a ridiculous clip for whatever reason. But he is a gangster, absolute professional. Hell of a guy in the clubhouse, and fucking good for him. Next guy up. Now,
is Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame?
No.
That's joke. Hall of Fame's a joke. Keep on going.
Okay.
Joke.
Now, this is a true joke. Now, Ichiro Suzuki, the first Japanese-born player elected to the Hall of Fame with a 60.0 WAR, 780 RBIs, 509 stolen bases, a career batting average of 311, 117 home runs, a slugging percentage of .402, an OPS of, for a guy that hit a lot of home runs, his OPS is 757. Now, here's the thing. Ichiro Suzuki got elected to the Hall of Fame with 99.7% of the vote. which means one cunt said, nah, I don't think Ichiro deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm voting for somebody else. He had the chance to be the first, I believe the first position player elected to the Hall of Fame unanimously. Mario Rivera, I think, is the only other player elected to the Hall of Fame unanimously, and he was a closer. So it means one guy, probably by the name of John Heyman, who will never hear or see this show, but he's a piece of shit, was probably the guy who did it. I'm just going to say he's the one who did it. But Ichiro deserved 100% of the vote. If you threw in his 3,089 hits on top of the 9 years he played in the Nippon League in Japan, he would make Pete Rose's record look like, meh, kind of fucking bullshit. So Ichiro gets in, he gets robbed, but a little bit, but he is in. So I like that. Other than Alex Bregman watch, not much else to concern yourself about in baseball. First game is coming up. I think they start February 20th in Arizona and Tampa St. Pete, I believe is where the other one is. Is it? Yeah, I believe it's Tampa St. Pete. So we'll see, but hoping that Alex Bregman is the last really big chip on the board. Like I said, been rumored to go to the Red Sox, rumored to go to the Mariners, rumored to go to the Tigers, rumored to go to the Chicago Cubs. We'll see. Hopefully he goes to the Cubs, because if he goes to the Cubs, then watch out, boys. We got Kyle Tucker in the outfield, Pico Armstrong, got a pretty solid base. Might have to pick up a pretty good starting pitcher at the trade deadline, but that's doable if Jed Hoyer, a.k.a. Theo Epstein from Wish.com, actually makes a fucking move. Cubs could be nasty this year, and I'm saying that as a skeptic, always a skeptic, but looking forward to that. Without further ado, though, or any questions you guys might have for me about the baseball, we'll wrap it up with Pops and some auto sports that's going on.
I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Are they gonna come up with a salary cap, or what are they gonna do for Los Angeles buying everybody?
There's gonna be a lockout in 2028 probably. The Dodgers have, last time I checked, at this point, like somewhere between 1.3 and 1.4 billion dollars in deferred salary. And a couple other teams have pulled this off, but on a minor scale. But the Dodgers are definitely kind of pushing everything they're doing is legal. It's all allowed. But a lot of people are griping and bitching about it, and we'll see what happens. Kudos to the Dodgers. I mean, look, the point of it is to win, and they're locking that team up and stacking it up so that they can bring another championship back. And it's an attractive place to go play. LA is an attractive place. You've got lots of opportunities for side deals and off the field money. If your Japanese player, Shohei's established now and he's in LA, so that's why Roki Sasaki went there. I mean, look, I think it was one of the playoff games. 20 million people watched one of the, I think it was the first game of the World Series, and 15 million people in Japan watched it. Oh, actually, I think it was reverse. 15 million people watched it here in the States, and 20 million people in Japan watched it, which is like, an eighth of the country. So the revenue that Dodgers are bringing in just because of the Japanese players is insane. Like, I think the number was Shohei off the field money brings into the Dodgers $120 million per year. That's jersey sales, ticket sales, a TV, media, all that shit. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see, but it's interesting. And Shohei I think he'll be able to pitch sometime midsummer. So, of course, he's gone through his second Tommy John. Did his surgery a little differently. New technique that came up. They stapled that tendon, this tendon, to the bone for a while and let it set, then pull the staples out, and then let him start rehabbing and throwing it. So we'll see, though. There's only one pitcher I talked about last week that's come back from 2 Tommy Johns and been successful. That's Nathan Eovaldi. So we'll see. The Dodgers might eat this if Shohei can't pitch like Shohei could pitch. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, any other questions before we let Pops?
Let me ask another question.
Okay.
Does the contract with Shohei have? Do they compensate him based on pitching and hitting, or just hitting?
The whole contract is him as Shohei Ohtani.
All
So it is him hitting and pitching, but it's not I don't know, locked in on one or the other.
Yeah.
So I mean, they absolutely want him to be able to pitch again, and he should come this summer. But again, you know, we'll see. Like I talked about multiple times. We'll see. We'll see. You know, he's a hell of a pitcher and he's an amazing hitter, but I don't think the Dodgers want to pay $700 million for a DH. So we'll see what happens as far as when he starts throwing again. I'm rooting for him because he's the greatest thing to happen to baseball ever. Best thing to happen to baseball ever. So
Better than Babe Ruth?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Because Shohei Ohtani didn't light his ex-wife's house on fire while she was in it, allegedly. And
I mean, you don't know, man. Like, here's the thing. Like, you hear all this bad stuff about Babe Ruth now, and you know, he ain't around to defend himself. You know what I mean?
No, he's not. But still, I think Shohei Ohtani is above reproach, above argument of being one of the greatest things that ever happened to Major League Baseball. I mean, he's just amazing.
How you feel about Barry Bonds being one of the greatest things that ever happened to Major League Baseball?
I love it. I love Barry. Love him.
That's
I would
because
love.
steroids doesn't make you hit the ball.
I would, what's that? What?
Steroids doesn't make you hit the ball. You hit
No.
the ball naturally. It's just steroids help to get them out of the park.
Allegedly. Yeah. Hey, and I'll say it again one last fucking time. All right. For those people hating on Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, guess who also was taking steroids? Anyone want to take a guess?
Everyone.
All the
Yes!
pitchers are taking steroids.
Everybody.
No, fucking, it was an arms race. If these guys are juicing and throwing 98 at me, well, guess what I'm doing? I'm juicing too. And to quote, paraphrase, quote, Mike Schmidt, asked by Bob Costas, Mike Schmidt, the Hall of Fame third baseman for the Phillies, he says, if steroids were available, would you have used them? He goes, yes. Why wouldn't you? Are you serious? If taking this bumps me up that much more and enables me to make that much more money and be that much better of a player, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So moving on. Any other questions about baseball before we close it out with some racing?
Yeah, why the hell, you know, why the hell here we're talking about the Hall of Fame and who's being inducted right now, and then out of left field, no one even had anything to say about any Yankees. You want to start bringing up Mariano Rivera. Like, that's like your mind always goes to the Yankees
because he's the only player to ever be.
Whether it's whether it's
elected
consciously, maybe this is all subconscious.
Oh God,
this is all your subconscious. Maybe you know, you might have a split personality disorder. You might have to take a long talk on a long couch with a professional about this.
I have a professional. Her name is.
Well, you're
Dr.
in denial.
Mahadi.
Well, have you brought up to your professional that you're in denial about being a Yankees fan?
No, it's never come up, Poke.
Okay.
She's never noticed that.
Well, yeah. I wonder why.
I don't know. All right. Any other questions about baseball? No? Good. All right, Pops. Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. The 24 hours of Daytona, the Rolex 24 hours of Daytona,
Yeah.
twice around the clock, was run yesterday and finished up at 1:40 this afternoon. And believe it or not, since 1:42, I have been looking for the final standings. Other than the fact that Penske's team finished first, Philippe Nasser has got a second championship in a row. So Penske has won 2 years in a row. However, you got to understand, Penske tried for 55 years to win the Daytona 24. He finally got it done last year and backed it up again with this year. So
nice.
That was pretty awesome. Roger is only 88 years old, so I guess it's about time he got the win. I'm not real sure how many more years he's going to
won
give.
Everything else, you know.
Yeah, he had. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan finished second with Magnuson, which was kind of neat to see that. And GT3 Mustang won, which is hard to believe, over a Corvette. Which the 24 Hours of Le Mans is such a unique race, but for some reason or another, no one, as in no one, had posted the final results of the 54 cars that were in the race. And it would be interesting to see because we've got so many friends that ran in the race, but we can't get standings. I mean, there are, well, right now, 13 websites that say they posted the results of the 24 Hours of Daytona, none of which post the results of the 24 Hours of Daytona. They all talk about Philippe Nasser and his win, but they won't show what the other classes did. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on there. As far as the lawsuit against NASCAR, that it's still the same suit. They're going through discovery. So far, nothing has leaked out of the discovery.
Weird.
Which is kind of weird but that was, I guess they're really playing it close to the vest because that was one of the allegations that NASCAR made about the 2311 racing in Front Row is that they're going to let all of our secrets out. So far, there's been no leak of the secrets, so NASCAR is not winning that. However, once the lawsuit is finalized, I look for all kinds of secrets come out because NASCAR has been so good about keeping their secrets. It used to be that NASCAR would post the results of the Daytona 500, including the prize money won. They don't do that anymore. They won't announce the attendance anymore. Well, that's something that most promoters don't want to do. With the exception of small tracks, like Hales Corner Speedway, Angel Park Speedway, and all that, they will announce attendance. But outside of that, in the big realm, rarely are they announcing what the attendance is. Because if you know what the attendance is, you can pretty much guess what the prize money is going to be.
Yeah.
But they don't do it anymore. It's neat to see that Penske finally got a win 2 years in a row. So that is awesome to see. Ryan, Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan was right up there with Kevin Magnuson bringing up. They led a lot of the laps, but when it came down to the very end, it was Penske, Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, and then Penske. So top three were pretty impressive teams. And I'm going to say that's all we got because we can't get the results. Don't know what else to say.
Le Mans is a great track. It's the scariest flat track on the planet.
Yeah.
And to drive it virtually is terrifying. I just talking to Dad the other night about how I was messing around, which we need to do this. The wife won't let me do it, but I think maybe me and you go half-see on a console.
Yeah.
And we get the newest Gran Turismo so we can race again against each other. But we have to put it downstairs and hide it from James because I think that's why she won't let me get it. But I want to start racing again, damn it. Like, I spent so many hours learning how to drive these tracks. They had so much fun with it. And Le Mans is, oh man, it is a great track. I mean, Daytona is it's kind of for the 24 hours. It's great, I guess.
The infield segment is awesome.
Yeah, but it's not Le Mans. It's not. And Le Mans is like a cultural European megalith kind of event. Like you could be in a tent, barely afford to pay to get in, and the guy next to you is parking a BMW COK 530. Like just it is a very eclectic and cool place to be. And Le Mans is just a beautiful track to begin with. Other than that, as far as I got is baseball. I can't wait to see where Alex Bregman goes. I hope he goes to the Cubs. If he does, you got to put the Cubs automatically winning the Central Division and the NL and automatically going to the playoffs. I don't know about the World Series. I'm a little worried about the pitching, but we'll see. Can't wait to see what Shohei does when he comes back. Dodgers are stacked. It's going to be a fun baseball season. I can't wait. I said the first games start February 20th, so we're under a month for spring training to start. One of these days, I'll make the trip out there. But other than that, remember, never take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. There's plenty of resources out there. I know how hard it is to just ask and reach out, but the second you do, you're good to go. The community will rally around you and find you the help you need. Final thoughts, Pook, and then Pops, and then let's call it.
Well, I might have to hit. You might have to be on standby to remind me never to take a permanent solution to a temporary problem, because my freaking sunroof is open a crack, and not only is it open a crack, it's frozen that way. And I live in Phoenix, where there's no rain hardly ever, but Monday it's gonna freaking rain. So I literally, in between trying to get rest for work, doing this nonsense and messing around, I'm like dropping down my headliner. I'm like trying to troubleshoot what's wrong with this damn sunroof. And I've been over my head and I got no clue. And the rain's coming. So I might have to call the hotline. You'll be there for me, right, brother?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I might need it. You might have to talk me off the ledge, man.
You just got to swear at it a few times, step back, swear at it again, look at it, grab a screwdriver, swear at it some more, and then drop it down. You'll be all right. That's how you fix everything. You got to swear at it a few times, and then the epiphany hits you. Oh, this is how I do it. And
bro, there's a cable. There's a cable I could cut. See, there ain't a lot of shit on the internet about this particular thing, right? But there's a cable, because like all I want to do is get it shut. Who cares? It's not working anyway right now.
Right.
So there's a cable I could cut. And I'm thinking if I cut that cable, you might be able to push it down, or if I maybe pulled on one side of the cable, it might come down on its own. But I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that. And what
kind of car is it on?
It's a Nissan Titan.
All right.
The tow mirrors, it's the tow package. That's what's got that stupid. I don't ever want a goddamn sunroof again in my life.
Just before you blow it up, check the fuses. It may have just popped the fuse.
Yeah, here's the thing, and you're right. You're right. Here's the thing, but the reason why I didn't think it was a fuse, and I have torn a lot of, because that should be the first thing I check no matter what. You're right. But the thing that makes me think it wasn't a fuse is because it was like working some of the time kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And right before I was literally going to go check the fuses, I was able to go hitting it up and down. I was able to move it up a little bit. So now it's even more up than what it was. But then when I take the thing all down and I'm listening, I hear the switches clicking.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think, but you're right. You know, it don't hurt to check fuses, because that should be the first thing I check. But no,
best of luck to you. I will tell you that
The motor itself. Here's the thing: if I knew it was the motor itself, I might go to the junkyard and buy a motor. I don't even know if it's the freaking motor. So why am I going to freaking swap out a motor and pay big money for it? They charge you big money at a junkyard. Even if you want the part from Nissan, it's like $700.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave you a perfect example of this. Back in the good old days, back when I was in college, my buddy George Janung had an MGB TC, which was the one of the original MGs with the big floating, I don't know what to call them, wheel well. I mean, it looked like an old time race car. I put it that way. And he was in St. Louis. He called me up on, I don't know. I guess I think it was on Thursday of Good Friday. I guess that's
it up.
And said, hey, my car won't start and I got to drive home. So I went through all the stuff of how do you figure out what you got to do. And he said, no, we jumped it. We've done this. We've done that. He said, by the way, Bill, there's a bus leaving at 11:30. I go, what's that all about? He said, well, I figured if you come here, we'll be able to fix it. So I get on a bus at 11:30 at night, travel to St. Louis, get picked up by a friend of George, who takes us to his house, and we sit down and have bacon and eggs and Budweiser for breakfast. I take the starter all apart so that we can push start it, and that's what we do. We push start the car and drive all the way from St. Louis back to Cincinnati, stopping twice for gas. Anyway, we get back there, and I get the manual for the MG, and sure as shit, on the very front of the starter motor is a cap. And if you pop that cap off, you can put a ratchet on that and turn the starter over, and that would have resolved the whole situation. But I would have missed out on the ham and eggs and Budweiser. So
Wow, Jesus.
That's something to look at, because it's the simplest things that really screw you up.
There you go. All right. Anybody else got anything before we call it?
Absolutely not.
All right. Without further ado, thank you to Poop. Thank you to Pops. It's a good show. See you next week.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.